Okay, got it. This meeting is being recorded. Sorry.
Okay.
Stop the recording. I'm gonna read this, the chart.
Okay. So hello and good evening for your side and good morning for my side. Welcome to one of the daily English projects, which is Daily English Conversation. It's a new project that we held. So right now, Nelson, could you please introduce yourself first?
Okay. My name is Snelson. I am from Colombia, and I'm currently learning English too. So I'm an English learner. I enjoy learning English. I don't have to learn because of because school or something like that. I'm learning because I like it. I like it so much, and it's like a hobby for me. What else? Well, I'm from Colombia, so my native language is Spanish, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you, Nana. Thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome, and thank you for you as well for accepting my invitation. So while waiting for another participant, which is Chiyo, let's just start our conversation first. For today's topic, it will be like sharing tips for English learning. So first of all, oh, here's Chiyo.
Here she is.
Here she is. Chiyo, can you hear us?
Connecting to audio.
Connecting to the audio. Maybe she's getting ready.
Yeah, maybe she is. Yeah.
So Nelson, why do you think English language is important?
Okay, but I think this is going to be on YouTube, right? Sorry for the question again. And what about if you introduce yourself also, Nana, maybe for those who maybe don't know you?
For those who might not know me. Okay, so my name is Nana. I'm 19 years old, and right now I live in Malaysia, and right now I'm studying in a college and majoring in English education department. That's all for me.
That's good enough. Okay, that's great also. Well, now I think it's Chiyo. It's online.
Richie is still preparing.
So what about if we wait a little bit until she's ready?
Hey. Are you ready now?
Hi.
Hi, Chiyo.
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
Don't worry.
It's a few minutes. So, Chiyo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Chiyo from Indonesia. I'm an author. Sorry, I take care of my nephew.
I see. It's okay.
Still a baby. Yeah. Okay. So, what are you gonna ask? Or we just start the discussion?
We're just about to start. So the first question that I would like to ask both of you is, why do you think English language is important for us?
Me or?
Oh, you guys.
Which one?
Anyone who would like to start first?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Nelson.
Okay. I was about to say something. Okay. So the question is, why do you think English is important, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think English is very important nowadays. You know, it's English is an international language, so you have to you have to learn you have to learn English if you want to fit in this global world. So everybody speak English, the business, the international business, everything is in English. The research, the most important things are developed in English. So I think it's really important. And yeah, it's if you learn it, it's like it open doors. You can maybe you can have a better life because you have more opportunities. And yeah, that's one reason. But there are many reasons. For example, if you like music, the, there are a lot of excellent music in English, and I think around the world, most of the the most famous songs nowadays are in English, and yeah, I think that's really important also. So to summarize, I think it's important for professional reasons, but also for entertainment. You can find anything. You can find many things in English. So it's nowadays it's vital to learn it. So that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How about you, Chiyo? What do you think about it?
You are mute, Chiyo. Sorry.
Oh my.
Well, I cannot hear Chiyo.
Yeah.
Can you?
Hello.
Okay. Now
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. Well, for me, the most important thing there isn't that I want to learn English is I want to connect to many people, and as we know that many people in the world, in our world, using English as their second language, or some of them using that as their native language. um, it's easier to me to communicate with many people if I learn English. So that's why since I was kid, my dad always said to me that I have to travel around the world, and the way I can travel and communicate with people is I have to learn English. That's it. I don't think it can make me have another job or something, because since I was kid, my dad want me to become healthcare worker. So it's not really important actually in Indonesia for health worker can speak in English. Even if they able to doing that, it must be great, but it's not that important. But my dad always say to me that I have to learn many language. So I think English is a big chance for me to get communicate with many people. If only I'm not learning that, I might not communicate with you both from Malaysia and Colombia. I never expect myself to communicate with you guys. And English bring me that chance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
So, for the next question, can you guys share some tips of how you guys learn English? Maybe Chiyo can start
First,
this.
uh, what's again? Sorry.
Can you share the tips of how you learn English every day?
Actually, I learned English since I was kids. Yeah. When I was in elementary school, I started learning English because my dad wanted me to learning it. And he asked me to memorize many vocabulary at that moment, but I don't really understand why. And when in elementary school, my teacher asked me to learn many vocabulary without telling me the reason. And maybe because of the way she teach, I become stupid. So I have no chance when I was in school. But I really want to improve myself. When I was in university, I have friends that can speak in English, and I want to like her, so I tried my best. So I practice. One of the tip that really crazy actually from my teacher, English teacher, when I was in junior high school. If I want to improve my English, I have to speak more. And because I don't have friends to talk with, I talk with the mirror. So I talk in front of the mirror like this.
Mhm.
I talk to myself using English. That's crazy, but that's helped me a lot. That's how I learned to speaking actually, because I listen to my own voice, and also I have courage because I see my reflection there. So I pretend that my reflection is another
Okay.
person. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I used to do it a lot back then. Yep. How
Oh,
about
Yeah,
you,
that's
that's
Nancy?
great.
really crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
But
that's
worry.
do
right.
you do you record also, or you only speak to yourself,
No,
but
I
you
just
don't record?
speak to myself.
Oh,
I
that's
just did
great.
it. And yeah, that's really crazy. Yeah, some people might
Yeah.
think that's crazy because for the very first time when I did it, my mom asked me, "Are you mad? Why are you talking with the mirror?"
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to her. And now when she knows me talking myself in front of the mirror, she just let me
Mhm.
do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, that's not crazy, because I think most of the, not only English learner, but language learners in general, they use that technique. They talk to themselves.
Yeah.
I also talk to myself, even if it's not in English, even in my native language. I
Hello?
But I don't. I think it's a really great way to improve. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you with that, Chi.
Yeah. What about you guys?
What about you, Nana?
Oh, me
because
first.
you because you don't you didn't answer the first question. Why do you think
Mm,
English is important?
I think English is important because it's an international language. So when we travel a lot, travel to other countries, or maybe speaking, maybe in our job or anything, we use English most of the time. For those who works in like the international things, yeah. So it is very important for me. And for how do I tips on how do I learn how to speak English is that actually I just studied at school and I just love English language. That's why I learn it. And how I try to improve it is that while I'm watching movies, I would imitate how they talk. I would read the subtitles in English and yeah, listen to music and just the basic things that people do. And that really helps me a lot. Yeah. How about you, Nelson?
Well, I think, well, that's an first. That was a really nice answer, because I think I tend to do the same thing as you. Also, what I also like to watch. I also watch movies and videos on YouTube. So that's how I learned. But yeah, well, to answer your question, how I learned English. Well, everything started maybe it's almost 3 years ago, right? If you guys remember, about 3 years ago, 2019, the the pandemic started,
Yeah.
COVID-19. So at that time, I was working. I was working. Well, I'm an engineer, but I was working as a teacher. I was teaching engineering to other students. So when the pandemic started, I quit my job. Well, because I had no choice. So I I quit my job because I had to come back home because it was really difficult at that time. So I had a lot of free time. You can imagine that, 3 years ago, the whole pandemic was crazy. So I need to focus on something. So because I have so much time, so much free time, so I always wanted to learn English when I was in high school, and of course in college I took English classes, but it wasn't something really deep. So it's like, for me, English was like another subject, just like math or biology or science. For me, English wasn't a tool for communication. So I only saw English like another subject. So I was really good only how do you say, with memorization, because when I was in college I only had to memorize certain rules in order to pass the exam. So I didn't learn. I think I don't. Maybe I learned something about grammar, but I never had to speak. So 3 years ago, when I started, I cannot speak anything. So I started to do a little research about how to learn efficiently. So me being an engineer, I always want to have a plan of action, a step by step on how to do things. So I started to to search on Google and on YouTube how to learn languages, and I stumbled upon these videos about people who speak several languages, they so-called polyglots, and I realized that there are people who speak multiple languages. So I became curious about what were what their methods were. And so I started to learn, to watch videos about how other people learn languages. I learned about something about comprehensible input, which is listening and reading at the same time. And that's how I learned, mostly through YouTube videos and by listening and reading content in English. So that's it.
But you have improved a lot. In 3 years, you have improved a lot. Seriously.
Do you really think that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
You
great.
are now you're even a leader for our conference call. So that's really cool. I mean.
Yeah, it's, well, I something that I do is I consume content in English every single day. So
Mhm.
I never skip any day. So that's a rule for me. I have to do something in English, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and no matter what the time is, I try to read something, even if it's only for 5 minutes. I do something every day. So I think consistency is the key to improve. If you say that I improve, I'm really glad to hear that, because I don't practice speaking really often. I think, you know, the language, every language that you want to learn, you have to start with listening. And if you think about it, that's how we learn our first language. We spend most of our time listening, and after 2 years we start to speaking. So I think right now I like to think that I'm like a baby and I'm starting to speak, because I've been listening a lot of English. So it's kind of, it's not easy, but I'm more, now I feel more comfortable with the speaking.
That you've been practicing so consistently, so I'm sure in no time maybe you can be very, very fluent. Right now you're already fluent, but maybe you can improve more and more.
Oh, thanks. Your words make me really happy. Because yeah, it's true. I don't practice speaking, but my listening skills are way better than my speaking. So maybe if I practice a little bit, I don't want to sound pretentious or to be like I'm really good, because I'm not. But I think that with a little bit of practice, I I could improve more, and that's my goal. I want to improve, and yeah, I need to do some practice, some deliberate practice to improve, because I don't practice speaking in general. But the other skills, you know, listening and reading, I do that every day.
So what do you think about the activities that like we held in daily English, for example, like conference call, and also the anything that comes into our YouTube channel? How do you think that helps you?
Well, me or Chiyo? Me
You can
first.
answer first.
Okay, I'm gonna answer first. Well, concerning daily English WhatsApp group, right? Well, that helped me a lot, because, well, as I said before, I don't have the opportunity to speak first and foremost, because this is my country is an Spanish speaking country. So the level here, it's not really good in general. Colombia has not a really good level of English, and the education system is, it's not, I'm not saying, I'm not complaining about, but it's like the traditional system. You know, the school is really good on teaching you knowledge, but they don't teach skills. So that's why well, when it comes, when going back to your question, I had this thing. Well, I had this. I used to think that in order to learn a language, you have to go to a classroom and things like that. But that's not true at all, because you can use the internet to connect and to practice with other people. So in that case, in that specific case, daily English helped me a lot, because I have the opportunity to speak. And actually, it's the only platform that I use to speak with other people. I also have another apps, like, I don't know if you guys heard about Hello Talk. It's this app for language exchange. So I
I heard
use
about
that
it.
app also. I use Hello Talk, and I tried different apps, but it's not the same. For example, it's different when you are sending voice messages, because you don't have to speak uh, to speak like in front of a camera. It's a totally different experience. It's like, because, for example, when you are texting or when you are communicating with voice messages, you have the opportunity to think and beforehand on what you are going to say. But when you are talking on a camera, you don't have this luxury. You have to speak, how do you say, at a drop of a hat. You have to speak without thinking about it, without, it's like you have to, it's like when you are speaking to a camera, you are really practicing your skills, your ability. You are developing fluency because it's really different. So for me, daily English helped me a lot when I want to communicate with others, and like without any script, because sometimes when we can use a script, for example, we can sometimes I write things down, the thing that I want to say, but it's not the same when you are talking in real time with other people. So that's helped me a lot. So I think I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and also because Daily English is a serious group, because I joined another groups in the past, but it was a total mess because sometimes people are not interested in learning. They don't focus on learning the language. They are more preoccupied with other things. They have another goals, maybe to maybe to enjoy the moment only, but they are not serious learners. And I think Daily English group is full of people who want to learn, and that's really good. It's a really safe environment, I think. But
Yeah,
that's my answer.
yeah, I must agree with that because it also helps me a lot, actually. How
Mhm.
about Chiyo? Chiyo, are you still with us?
Can you give me some minutes, please?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so now it's the
Okay.
turn of Nana.
Sorry.
Okay,
Why?
it's okay.
Okay, what do you think Daily English uh, has helped you to
Mhm.
develop your skills in this language?
I think yeah, it helps me a lot actually, especially in my confidence. Usually before I joined Daily English, I don't exactly have the confidence to speak English in front of people. But then I joined it and I practice it with other members. I try a read and record. I try to join conference call, and now I'm just very confident right now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
more
you
too
are.
confident, and it helps me a lot.
I can
Yeah.
see that. How long have you been in that group? How long have you
I
been
think I've been
learning in this
in
group?
that group for like almost 3 years. Cause I yeah,
So
cause
yeah,
I joined in 2020.
yeah, yeah. You joined during the pandemic, also, I think.
Mhm. I think I joined before the pandemic. Yeah, before that happens, I joined the group.
So how do you become an administrator, a leader on, you
Actually,
know?
I just joined as a normal members, but then since I'm confident at the time and I'm quite active in the group, you see the head admin of the group, she invited
Mhm.
me to be an admin. So like it's like just 2 weeks after I joined, and I was really grateful because of that. And because of that, I became more active in the groups, and yeah, until I became someone like now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and so, but you were on college. You were studying at that time, or you were still at
I
high
was
school?
I was in high school and now I'm college. So the difference is just a wow, it's been a very long time.
Yeah, that's how time flies, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool, right? If you see, I don't know if you have old recordings of yourself speaking English, you can, and you can see the difference on how you
Mm,
used to talk and
maybe
now
I
you.
don't have that. It's such a pity because if I have that, maybe I can compare it with my speaking now.
Yeah, but now you have a deep knowledge because you are, of course, you are studying.
Mm-hmm.
You are having a degree on English,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. it's only English, or you are studying majoring on another languages?
Well, basically it's more to English, but I also studied like the philosophy and also the psychology. So that another
Mm.
language.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and everything is in English. So you have your lectures are all in English, or you use Indonesia, Malaysia, right? So
I
it's only English.
For English subjects, mostly I just use English, and for other subjects, we can even speak Malay here.
That's but your teachers are, so I mean they are really fluent in English, or they are maybe native or
Yeah, they are
native.
fluent. They're not native, but they're fluent in English because they
So
studied a lot, I guess. Because most of my lecturers, they studied overseas in UK and
mm,
US. So that's how they became fluent, I guess.
and with a really good accent, I guess, because they lived in another country, so
Yeah.
that helps a lot. And don't you wanna go maybe to do a master's degree overseas, or
Maybe I'm thinking about it.
that would be great, I think,
Yeah,
for your experience. Now
yeah,
it's the turn of Chiyo.
yeah.
Now,
Chiyo is ready now.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Okay,
hi,
Chiyo.
welcome back.
So sorry. I have to take care of my nephew. He's
It's
still a
okay.
baby.
So
You
Chiyo,
want to see him? How?
okay, I think I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask again. How do you feel about the activities in daily English? How does it helps you in improving?
Sorry?
How do you think the activities that we held in daily English helps you improving in English?
Actually, the story when I joined Daily English is really awkward. No, not awkward. It's just absurd reason. I know Yuzi that moment. She is in the same group with me in another English group, and suddenly she asked me something like, "Would you join my English group?" I just what? Because so many group that moment, and yeah, I joined it because I got interest. She said that her group is different, and after joining for a week, she asked me to become an admin in charge to manage the conference call. And I never speak to many foreigner face to face like now. Doing video call is just insane for me. And the insane reason is it's just English is not my native speaker. It's really hard for me to understand many people, to adapt with that and have courage to talking with them. But I tried my best, and after JV,
Yeah,
probably. Okay.
that I missed your answer because you were answering the question,
Yeah,
Chiyo.
okay. Join daily English is really great for me. Actually, I have many chance to talking with many people face to face, and it just give me courage to talking with others, especially for all the foreigner, because not many not many people have that kind of chance, and I'm admin in charge, so of course I have to communicate with many people. And yeah, that opportunity is really great. Now I feel more confident to talking with many people, even though I'm not really good in grammar. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. That's what I think about daily English.
Yeah,
So
Right, little boy?
I'm not really good either, but yeah, the good thing about daily English is that, well, we are not like judging other people. I never feel judged by other
yeah,
people. Although I'm pretty sure that I'm making tons of mistakes when I speak, but yeah, I feel pretty comfortable because it's
Yeah,
not a language class. It's like it's more like when you are
community.
for like a community of friends, right? It's like you are communicating with other people and you are trying to get your point across and you are trying to share your opinion, so you don't worry too much
Mhm.
about your mistakes. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that has been my experience. So I can relate with that, Chiyo. So I think it's
Yeah,
great.
actually, that's awesome. That's really awesome to get connected with many people, and I really love it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. It's a song, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's happy. You're
Okay.
also happy now,
Yeah, yeah.
baby. But actually, Nelson, I have to say that you improve a lot. I still remember the very first time I talked with you in 2021, and you say to me that you want to improve more. That's really awesome. You already improved.
Well, I'm happy to
Awesome.
hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope I hope that's true. Well, I am not doing how can I say that? You know, you can do like you can focus on something or you can do something like passive, like you can do passive listening and active listening. You can do passive studying and active. You can be passive or active. I think I've been my technique. I have been kind of passive. I've been doing a lot of listening, but I don't practice speaking really often. Although when I join this conversation, these kinds of conversation, I try to speak a lot because it's an opportunity to speak. So I try to speak as much as I can, but but I don't practice really often. So I'm really glad that you said that I have improved a little bit. So I'm really glad.
No, it's not a little bit. You know, it's really awkward when very first time have conversation with you. That moment I invite you to join conference call. I still remember it, and you just saying something like, I'm a beginner for real, and we have some voice message
Yeah,
that moment, and I still remember the way you talking something. You try to figure out something in English, and that's really hard. You still have
yeah,
your
yeah. It
easy
was
accent, and now I hardly listen something like that from you.
yeah, it was a nightmare, right? When you were listening to
That's
me,
really awesome.
it should be a nightmare because I think I was probably mispronouncing most of the words that I was saying at that time. Of course, my accent
No, it's not
sucks.
mispronunciation actually.
It was like
You
translating
know,
in my head. Maybe I used to think a lot of in Spanish and I used to try to translate in my head. But now I'm talking like more, I don't know, like if I it's like I'm thinking in English and I'm speaking in English without translating in my head. So I think maybe you experienced the same when you were a beginner. I don't know if you guys have the same experience when you started to learn it. I don't know. Do you?
actually, till now, I still thinking and try to talking using Indonesian, but I try my best to not thinking like that because I have to talking with foreigner.
Well, I don't
Actually,
notice
it's the same.
that you are thinking in Indonesian because you speak like really fluent. So I don't notice that you are translating in your head or something like that.
Yeah, it's still I still tried. You know, when I joined daily English, sometimes when I did a reading practice, I still thinking using Indonesian.
Yeah, it's like your native language is like try to dominate, like you are so used to your native language that it's kind of hard to adopt a new way of thinking, new patterns, and new,
Yeah,
because English is a
actually,
different style, right?
yeah, actually, it's okay. English is not your native speaker, even though you say I try to doing my best and not mispronounce something. Actually, it's okay if you're saying something with your accent. That's really good, as
Yeah,
long as people that you want to communicate with understand what you say.
yeah,
Everything is
yeah,
just fine.
yeah. I think it's great. What about Nana? I think Nana, do you have do you have phonetics classes on your
Mhm.
university? Maybe you learn about phonetics and about the sounds of the language, right?
Yeah, we learned about that like in the beginning of the semester.
And do you like that subject or?
I'm not sure how to
Lala,
say this.
ini.
Actually,
Nah, nah.
I
Ini.
hardly
Oh, lo, lo, lo.
learn about grammar because I don't know, it's pretty much difficult even for me.
Oh,
But
enggak
I
mau
still
kok
learn it because I
notification
need to
saya.
know the knowledge about it. But
Yeah, yeah.
okay, I think it's fine. I'm not mastering it yet, but I'm trying.
Well, I think learning grammar it's really good, but I have to confess something.
Mhm.
I don't study grammar. Maybe probably the last time I read about grammar was like 10 years ago when I was in college. So maybe that's why I tend to make a lot of mistakes because I don't study grammar. Maybe I need to focus on grammar also. But yeah, I think grammar is important, but it depends on your goals, right?
Yeah.
Maybe for you it's important because it's your degree and maybe you have to pass exams about grammar and how to use proper grammar. But in my case, I don't have to well, I'm not worried about grammar because I don't need to. Well, of course I want to improve and I want to speak more accurate, but well, I think you can pick a lot of grammar just by listening. Yeah, right. It's like when you learn your first language, you never learn about grammar. When you are 3 or 4 years old, when you are 5 years old, you are already able to speak, but you never read a book about this is the present, this is the past, this is the past perfect. When you are a child, you speak only because you get input because you have listened a lot of the language. So I'm using the same strategy, the same method to learn. I'm trying to to pick up the patterns of the language and the grammar also. But I think it's grammar is important when you're trying to reach a really higher levels of the language.
Yeah, that's right. What's most important is that the person that we're talking to would understand what we're saying. That's the most important thing. But the grammar we can learn it bit by bit, and maybe some other time we'll be very good at it.
Okay, see, I agree with you. I 100 agree with you.
I think the conversation has reached enough time. So
Has reached
I
enough
guess
time.
we'll end the
Really?
recording here.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
it's
already
been
an
like
hour.
more than 30
I,
minutes.
okay, so we can keep talking
Yeah, we can keep
about
talking, but I'll
English.
start the recording first, okay? Thank you
Okay.
so much, everyone.